10 years ago, 6 of the brightest lights in the pop cosmos were suddenly extinguished, leaving a generation of fans bereft. Some cracked under the pressure.
It was overwhelming. It was just too much, too soon, too young.
Others were sacked by their record companies.
We wished it's over, Sony are dropping us.
It was like the rug being pulled under your feet at 90 miles an hour.
Now, after a decade away, they're putting real life on hold as they attempt to reboot their pop careers. This is the big reunion. Previously on the big reunion, the boys from Ep5 regrouped for the first time in over half a decade.
Sorry, you're a bit late.
But they have a bit of a problem. They're a man down.
What we're going to do about a new member?
I don't want any other punk in the band, and I don't want him just to be some punk that is just going to fill the space temporarily.
I'm glad you went away in love with you.
But you can sing, though. You can.
I can hold a note with people. I'm not Mariah Carey.
Over in Atomic Kitten world, Liz and Natasha welcomed Kerry back into the lineup.
You abandoned us, bitch.
With just weeks to go before the big reunion gig, the bands are fighting to get physically and emotionally fit. While most battle with egos and love handles, one member of Liberty X has made a life-changing decision.
I'm 80% susceptible of breast cancer. So tomorrow on Lorraine, I'm going to announce that I'm going to have a double mastectomy.
You nervous?
I'm just scared of not waking up.
With the aftermath of a double mastectomy to contend with, Michelle Heaton and her band Liberty X are under pressure to be ready for the gig.
Clap your hands. Oh, you want to clap my hands for me? Go beep, beep.
But with first rehearsals just around the corner, Michelle must face the reality of her situation.
I've got to say, it is very depressing that I'm not feeding my baby.
Well, you're very independent, aren't you? You don't let me do too much.
Because Mummy can't raise her arms very high. On the morning of the operation, I didn't get a chance, I don't think, to say bye to you before I went in. Because I texted you, didn't I?
A quick text just to say that you were going. And I was okay, I was fine at home, and then I left for work. But when I got to work, you text me saying that your phone was getting switched off.
Oh, stop it!
Sorry. It was just
You made me cry.
I'm sorry. It was there.
Stop, I can't even hug you. What's Grandma doing to Mummy? The doctor said that give it about 6 weeks before I do anything overexerting.
I think it's too early. I mean, it's great you're getting back together. I think, you know, I'd love to see the band, see all the mothers, but I think it's too early for you. I really do.
I'll have to make it work. I need to make it work.
It's not just Michelle and Liberty X that need to be ready. This week, another pair of defunct supergroups face the challenge of reuniting as we get up close and personal with 911 and Bewitched. In 1998, 4 Irish beauties with the collective denim fetish became one of history's biggest girl bands. They smashed UK chart records, bagged 4 consecutive #1s, and jigged their way to over 3 million album sales in the process. When the band split 4 years later, Sinead and Adele returned to Ireland, while Kiwi and Lindsay remained close in London. but relationships were fractured. Adele and Sinead's friendship fell apart.
I felt like my wife was leaving me. That's what I actually felt like.
My intention was never to kind of hurt somebody, and I did.
Lindsay battled to find her new identity.
The ending of the band was a blur.
Whilst Kiwi struggled to come to terms with life outside her twin shadow.
Why I was the dancer, why I was the joker, because I just wanted to be seen. I wanted to make sure that people actually knew there was two of us with the same face.
But before their big reunion can move forward, Adele and Sinead have flown to London. All four girls are about to meet up at Lindsay's house for the first time in 6 years to face their issues.
I feel sick. I'm really nervous and I don't know why.
We're just like waiting for the buzzer to go because they should be here any second.
I feel very nervous now.
I don't know what to expect. Is today going to be fun? Is it going to be emotional? Will there be tears? Will there be anger? I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm changing my mind. Like I was in the car on the way here going, oh, I don't know, do I want to do this? Will I get out? No, I won't get out. No, will I get out? No, I won't get out.
It's been so long since we've been together as a four. I don't know how the chemistry is going to be between us.
Right now.
Hi!
Hi.
Oh my God, you look fabulous.
You okay? You okay? Do you have a mirror? Can we see us all in your hallway mirror?
We look like we look like Cores. I'm Jim.
Where's our... Nice couch, Linz.
The big reunion gig is edging closer, and with so much water under the bridge, there's lots to discuss.
Are you excited?
I'm just constantly feeling nervous.
Yeah, it's the fear of the unknown, isn't it? Because we don't know how it's going to work. We don't know.
I do. I'm out front now, ladies and gents. Sorry to tell you.
When Bewitched imploded in 2002, even the powerful bond between twins Kiwi and Adele was stretched. Kiwi stayed in London, while Adele returned to Ireland. Life has turned out well for Adele. She part owns a children's animation business and is happily married with kids.
When I met my husband, my cousin set us up on the blind date. And the second I arrived, the second I saw him, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, is that my blind date? I just thought he was gorgeous.
How you doing, buddy?
Go way ahead of us, did she? Look at your pizza's amazing.
Adele might be happy with pizza and movie night now, but life's had its ups and downs over the last 10 years.
When the band ended, we all actually had an identity crisis. Everybody did. Kiwi fell into a very, very deep depression. She couldn't find who she was. And that's really difficult. It's not nice not knowing who you are. It's actually quite lonely. I just became Kiwi from Bewitched, so when that was snatched off me, I was like, well, who am I? I was like, I actually don't know who Kiwi is. I didn't discuss my state of mind with anybody. I didn't at that point, and I didn't for the next 5 years. If you did go out for a coffee or go to Sainsbury's and people were looking at you, at times inside my head, I was going, what the fuck are you looking at? I was in London one weekend and we were in a car on the way home from a club and Kiwi just started screaming in the back of the cab. The cabman seen what a state I was in and he pulled over on the road and we all got out of the car and Kiwi was just screaming in the middle of a London street, just screaming. I was like, I can't even remember what she was screaming. I just remember it being heartbreaking. And I just remember saying to her, okay, you know what, you need help. This is not enough for me to help you. I couldn't say it out loud. I was waiting and hoping that somebody would say it to me, because the words were just too big to get out of my mouth. I couldn't reach out and just couldn't say to someone, I need help. I guess I was a ticking bomb, and the bomb exploded.
While Kiwi was having a meltdown, Edel was planning for the biggest day of her life. It was a day neither Lynch would ever forget.
She was maid of honour at my wedding, and rightly so. She was everything to me. And it was a really difficult day for her. When I think of Edel's big day, I wasn't fully there. I was putting on a face, trying to be there for her on the biggest day of her life. And I was going... The feelings were so conflicted because I knew how much she was struggling. And I'm trying to be so happy for myself, which I actually was, naturally, because I'd met the love of my life. But yet so unhappy because the first love of my life is falling to pieces. And when I think about it now, I hate that I wasn't there for her like I'd like to be. I would like to be completely engrossed in her day and enjoying every minute, but I wasn't. And I know desperately she wanted to give a shit, but she couldn't. Sorry. I have a picture, and it's a lovely picture. You can see the back of me, and we're hugging each other, but it's a really nice picture, but you can see the struggle in the picture that I'm going through. It's almost like I'm gripping onto her. Myself and Edel know what's going on in that picture. It's just like, you can see you can just see the struggle. It was hard. It was sad.
Since the wedding, Kiwi slowly got her life back on track.
When I had my breakdown, I went into counselling and I started to understand some of where I went wrong, some of where I got lost. And because I did, I ended up finding my strength again and becoming a whole person. I'm studying counselling, which I absolutely love, really, really passionate about it. I'm in my last year. For me, counselling was a gift, and I just want to be able to pass that gift on.
As well as studying counselling, Kiwi also volunteers for a charity in her spare time.
Hi, Archie.
Hello, Archie.
My name is Kiwi from Make-A-Wish Foundation.
And I'm Caroline.
We're here to find out what your wish is going to be. We can't actually give those children extra days onto their life, but we can give them life into their days, which is really nice, and it is really special to be part of.
And she's rekindled her passion for pop by singing lead in a covers band.
How's this any different then from doing it from in the past with you when you were in Bewitched?
I get to sing out loud, out the front. I'm a lead.
Guys, thank you very much for having us with you tonight. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Now standing taller than ever, Kiwi even finds time to be a stilt walker with her other sister, Naomi.
My little sister is a fire performer and a stilt walker, and she went, get up on stilts if you want. So I said, fine. So I did, and I still do it now because it's a laugh and I get to work with my sister and hang out with her and get paid.
Coming up, with the big reunion looming, Sinead and Edel attempt to heal old wounds.
It was such a hard time to lose you. It was so hard. Like, it really did break my heart for years.
911 confront the demons that blew them apart at the height of their success.
Just sat there with with this kind of half bottle of Jack Daniels and there's strips of tablets and just thought, I might as well end it now.
And 5 get a bit drunk and disrespect someone else's furniture. The girls from Bewitched are back together for the first time in 6 years. But with the Hammersmith Apollo concert looming, putting differences aside is proving harder than they thought.
It's making me feel really weird.
Yeah.
What's weird is we don't feel like a unit.
That's what it is. It's like we're all sitting here very separate, very individual, and I don't know how to be this singular in this
situation.
situation.
When Bewitched shut up shop in 2002, Sinead and Iddel's friendship also came to an end, and emotions are still raw.
My biggest anxiety about doing this, there's only one, and it's Sinead, I think. It's just how I'm going to feel about being in her person again. She was everything to me.
It was like, you know, a marriage or really a relationship and saying, you know what, I love you to pieces, but I just need time by myself, on my own. I need to figure out who, you know, I am without you.
Since leaving the band behind, Sinead has rediscovered herself. But despite being happily married with kids in Ireland, her fallout with Iddel still weighs heavy.
After a while, they wanted to actually continue and try and get another record deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
No one else was
I
going to
remember
leave.
Iddel came down and we sat out in the garden, and I kind of think she knew then that I think I wanted to leave. I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah. I know, that was a very emotional time for you. I know that.
It's like, I always call it a fallout, which sounds so royal, but it wasn't that royal. It was like a slip away or something, you know? Yeah, I don't know, it just feels weird. How do you feel hearing her say that?
I feel like I've said everything and, you know, there isn't another explanation. Like, I don't feel nervous, I don't feel uncomfortable, I don't feel anxious, do you know what I mean?
I think that's what feels weird for me, because I can feel that from you, and I can tell that you're already comfortable with whatever we are or we're not, and I'm not there yet. And the more I see of you, and the more that your personality reminds me of what I loved, the more I'm afraid I'm going to want from her, do you know what I mean? But she doesn't want to give it to me, so that's what I'm most afraid about. I'm like, why am I throwing myself in here to get so emotional about it? Because it was such a hard time to lose you. It was so hard. Like, it really did break my heart for years.
It's like I would be afraid that it would get too intense again, because...
What's so scary about that, though?
Because I think I just lost who I was. I didn't know who I was. I don't know. I don't think it could get back to that intensity anyway, because it was just you and me.
I don't think that's even what I'm asking for yet. Well, I just don't. I don't have any preconceptions of what it may or may not be.
Yeah.
But it's very emotional. It's weird.
After years apart and with scores unsettled, simply turning the smiles back on may be an impossible process.
Another flip side to how I felt a lot of the time was lonely, because I was, you know, the lead singer and very much, you know, in touch with the business side, probably more than anyone else. You guys understand each other, but no one understood me, so it made me feel quite lonely at times. It's funny because I can hear you saying you three, and for me, that's not right. That's not how you felt? No, because I was a twin in the band and living in my twin's shadow. Yeah. I was jealous of what you were doing, but I didn't realise what you were doing was actually quite high pressure, being a lead singer.
Absolutely. I've thought that since as well. We are different people now. We all had our little roles in the band back then, and I don't feel like that person anymore. So I know for myself, I'm not going to be slipping back into a role that I did 10 years ago.
Over the last 10 years, it's been all changed for the band's quiet girl, Lindsay. When Bewitched hung up their denim jackets, her life was suddenly thrown into chaos.
In the space of a year, my mum died and the band ended. And so my life just did 360.
And last year, Lindsay's marriage to 911's Lee hit the rocks.
We're not together anymore. We're still friends. There's only so much grieving and healing you can do, and then you have to go on with life. You know, then you have to pick yourself up and go, okay, what's next? I threw myself back into work, actually. I decided to try something very different, and I went and trained as an actor. I went to drama school for 2 years. I am officially an unemployed actress.
And she'll be exposing her talents in an upcoming movie.
Sister Josephine?
Lindsay's made a fresh start, but her thespian friends are mesmerised by tales of her pop past.
These are boxes which I haven't looked through for years. I don't know what's in them, but it says storage, Lindsay's denim.
I like that thing.
Look, we had to do dance routines in them.
Oh, I need this.
Oh, that's got my name on it.
Putting the denim down.
Now back with the band, the new Lindsay finds the confidence to confront an old issue.
Were you guys unhappy all the time? Like from day one?
I felt very alone in the band,
Yeah.
a lot of the time. And I felt like because I was probably the quieter one, I was a bit
Really
more placid.
So quiet.
And I slipped into a role that I didn't recognise. Like, I was such a confident and outgoing person before I got into the band. And in the band, I felt overwhelmed by you guys. I felt overwhelmed.
By us? What? By
All
the
of
three
you.
of us?
Yeah. I felt like if I had an opinion or a feeling about something, that I felt like it was going to be seen as being rude or wrong.
Who made you feel like that? So
You did sometimes.
That's a big thing to say, that somebody makes you feel like something, and not that you
Reacted to
that
situation
in doing
that way.
that. You know what I mean? You're saying that I made you feel like that.
I'm a strong person, but I'm not as opinionated, and I'm not as quick off the mark to get in there with my opinion. I don't feel the need to do that. I don't feel like, unless...
Sorry, am I cutting you off?
No, go on.
And when you say that I made you feel like that, but yet you're saying I was in a band with 3 strong characters, but it was only me that you're referring to.
I suppose in general, you were the strongest. Even though Lindsay's saying, oh, other strong people, but you were the strongest. You were the most opinionated, and that's probably, do you know what I mean? That's, I think, where that's coming from.
It almost felt like there wasn't a point, because you would win the conversation anyway. Your opinion would win the conversation anyway. So I felt like, well,
why would it win?
There's no point. Because because of your character, because of how strong.
Because I would win it, or because you would give up in the end?
Well, yeah. Either way.
How's everyone feeling now? I'm feeling a little bit different than when I walked through the door. I was nervous coming in and emotional about Sinead and I. And I feel like over this chat that now I think you and I need to chat.
While Sinead is out of the room, Lindsay and Adele attempt to thrash things out.
I am still feeling like that you think a lot of it is my fault, although I know you're kind of trying to change the words as you go along, but I am feeling off you that you think a lot was my fault. And I'm feeling a little bit...
No, I don't put words in my mouth, because I wouldn't say fault. I wouldn't say it was your fault.
No, I didn't put words. I said you're feeling that. I'm not actually putting the words. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Well, so
Are
am
you?
I.
There's so much more to me.
But you didn't show me that much more.
No, we didn't have a relationship. That's what I mean.
Now, Lindsay and Adele's relationship is under pressure for a second time. Serious doubts about the reunion have started to creep in.
I feel like we've kind of only hit the tip of the iceberg.
It could go either way.
do I want to do this? Do I actually want to get back into Bewitched? Getting to rehearse and getting on the stage, I'm not sure we'll get there. I'm doubtful.
Coming up, we look at whether the boys from 911 have had their bodies shaken by life out of the spotlight.
I had stitches in my head. Lee had, carried me to, the hospital. I was in a proper state.
And we examine what the trio have been up to since they split 13 years ago.
What drugs was you doing?
Cocaine.
With just weeks to go until the big reunion concert at London's Hammersmith Apollo, we're probing the reality of life after fame for our one-time megastars. With their very own brand of babyface charm and breakdancing brawn, womanising party boys 911 became one of pop's major forces in the mid-90s. But at their peak, they squandered the chance of prolonged fame and fortune, committing commercial suicide by walking away from their multi-million-pound record deal.
Thank you for 5 years of fantastic time in my life.
Lee?
And I'm off to have a normal life.
Go to bed and I just started crying. I just felt this overwhelming sadness.
For me, it was an excuse basically to get the alcohol out, and I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to answer to anybody.
I think it's long overdue that we need to sit down and probably talk about all the issues we kind of had.
I'm going into this meeting with the boys, totally open-minded. Ask me anything and I'll be truthful about it. So bring it on, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
I'll give you my opinion and say what I need to say. If they don't like it, then there's not a lot I can do about that.
We never used to chat in 911 about any of our problems or anything, so it's a bit nerve-wracking, really, because you don't know what's going to come out. They might hate me.
It's been a long time.
I don't think we sat together for a meal for about 10 years, 12 years.
Probably right. What are you thinking about the reunion?
The reality is, I don't care about any of the bands. It's more about the three of us and what we can achieve between the three of us.
I thought, at the beginning we were, so tight as a group,
We were working so many long hours. We didn't have a day off in something like 10 days off in 3 years we had. And I think in the end that took its toll. And I remember the last 9 months, you could tell, I must admit, I couldn't be doing with you both. I thought you were a pair of bellends. I just had enough. I just wanted to keep awake.
I felt we were slowly going down, and I thought it's a natural point for us to get out of here.
I remember doing SMTV, and Jimmy, you couldn't even fucking stand up.
No.
You used to come in pissed whenever we used to do stuff, and you'd be like, well, he obviously doesn't give a shit anymore, so it's like, what we're going to do?
You were knocking around with a bunch of fucking plebs. All them. They were dickheads, and it was as if you didn't give a shit about me and Lee. You didn't talk to us and you were going away. But then you turn up to SMTV and be absolutely bladdered.
By the time 911 imploded at the turn of the millennium, Jimmy's excessive behaviour had taken its toll on the band and was spiralling out of control.
Well, the biggest thing was just not having your two best friends there that were, played a huge role in your life for all those years, and your only answer to replacing him was the empty bottles on the floor. So I just spent my time kind of just drinking myself silly. So yeah, it was a sad time. Oh, back to the old days. Let's get some songs done.
Jimmy's rediscovered his love of music with his old 911 producer.
Really simple.
But things could easily have turned out very differently.
To me, you seem like a different person today than you were 10 years ago.
I remember I used to just, wake up and it would be a case of, well, I've got nothing to do, but in order to kill the pain and the depression, I just open a bottle of wine
In the morning?
Yeah, yeah.
So how much were you drinking a day then?
Averaging probably, I reckon, probably 10 bottles a day. And you can't physically drink anymore.
With time on his hands and a pop star bank account, things went from bad to worse.
When I went seeking cocaine, which is what I was, you know, what I was kind of using, you see some things, you just think, what am I doing? And it just got worse and worse, and I just got to a point where I just thought, you know, I didn't really want to be here anymore, and there was no point in, you know, there was nothing left for me. And yeah, I just sat there with the, you know, with this kind of half bottle of Jack Daniels and this strips of tablets, and just thought, you know, I might as well end it now. And it was very dark. It was very, I don't know. It just felt as though the room was just full of demons. The only saving grace that saved me was that about thinking about your family and what you're leaving behind.
You had no idea, mate. I had no idea you'd been through that.
From the depths of despair, house husband Jimmy has since found salvation and a reason to live.
My life now is completely different. Past all the dark days and all that business is, yeah, I'm married, a beautiful wife and 3 kids. You know, I love it. It's normal, everyday life. But I think it's stuff that people have done over the years that we never got to do. It gives me a reason to get up every morning and think, those smiles is just, oh, it just melts you.
Only now, after all these years, can Jimmy bring himself to discuss the darker days with his bandmates.
See, we didn't know about this, like, did we? We could see, obviously, at the end of 911, you were hanging out with the wrong crowd, you were getting involved in shit that you shouldn't have been getting involved in.
Did you do drugs?
Not in the band.
I just can't see you doing drugs. I don't understand. What drugs was you doing?
Cocaine.
You fucking skag. You were knocking about with druggies?
Well, yeah, well, not knocking about with them, but like that's where you went. That's where you went to get what you needed.
I can't even look at you. It's like, Jim.
You know, I look back at it now and I think, yeah, I'm quite happy to accept the responsibility of like probably being a knob.
I feel, at the end of the day, if we've all would have been as close, that would never have happened. No. And I feel like, at the end of the day, it only took a conversation. It took one phone call between me and you, or Jimmy, you know, Lee and all that, and you'd never have done all that. It upsets me.
Do you think we'll get close again?
Oh, don't you?
Well, I just think that, you know, from your perspective, you're very closed off, as in emotions.
I think you can see from just today that I am more open than I've ever been.
No, you probably actually, yeah.
I'm miles more open. I speak more about my feelings and stuff. I never did.
But didn't you have like anxiety and?
Yeah, I was staying up all night. I was losing the plot. I didn't like walking into rooms. If I was walking through a pub or anything, I got nervous. I couldn't go out into public. I fucking ate, you know, I got uncomfortable with the old fame thing. I was struggling.
When 911 ended, Spike's confidence was annihilated when he suffered a brutal, life-changing experience.
I just wanted to be back in 911 where everything was done for you. It was the first time out the bubble. I went home to Warrington, left my mates, walked round the corner and got mugged off a coach load of out-of-towners. Like saying, oh, it's that 911 puff. I had stitches in my head, and a couple of days later my head just blew up. I just went green and everything. Lee had like carried me to like the hospital. I was in a proper state. I think that sent me over the edge, and I probably didn't leave my place for about a year.
Spike's attack unlocked some deeper psychological issues.
Because we were always in hotels, I didn't feel comfortable in big rooms, like living in big rooms, so I had to live in apartments and all that. I couldn't face getting a house because it just felt too big for me, and I couldn't get used to living in a normal kind of place. It was like weird. I just wanted my hotel room.
Spike had various business ventures, including a theatre school and flogging keyrings. His girlfriend Sammy has been helping him deal with his fears.
Do you reckon, like, the agoraphobia will come back with it?
I think I'm a lot stronger this time.
I think so.
And I think I can cope with it now, but it's still a worry.
There was a point when we were living together and stuff, and I could tell you were down. You just didn't want to go out anywhere. The curtains were drawn for days.
You know what it's like when we were out, do you know, we'd be in a restaurant or something and someone would say, are you from 911? You know I couldn't eat then. It's that kind of uncomfortable feeling I have, and that's what I don't want.
At least you think you know what you're going into this time.
Yeah, that's what's worrying.
And one way of finding out, isn't there, really?
I know.
Coming up, Lee reveals the reality behind his pop star mask.
Quite draining, actually. Really trying to put on this, like, real confident front all the time.
And watch out, London. 5 are out on the lash for the first time in over a decade.
Here we go. Yeah. Boys are back in town.
With first rehearsals just around the corner, 911 have decided to have a heart-to-heart for the first time since they split. The floodgates are now completely open.
For me, the last 6 months of 911, mentally, I was just completely fucked up. And to be honest, I guess when I knew it was going to end, I thought, do you know, I cannot wait till it ends because my head's going to explode. When I woke up the day after we'd split up, I just felt relief. And I didn't really think, I really miss this. Not yet, I didn't. But it would come.
Since 911 split in 2000, Lee's found himself battling to come to terms with the emotional impact of a serious childhood illness.
It's funny because it's only, I'd say the last 2 to 3 years is the time that I've only started dealing with my feelings from having cancer, which is just crazy. Like, I think that is when my issues with how I look and people making comments, that's when it started to affect me. Tough.
Lee became a total recluse. By his own admission, he closed the curtains and played video games for 10 years. Now he's swapped a lifetime spent in front of the camera for the comfort of a career behind the lens.
Maybe that tells you something then. That someone else do star jumps in front of the camera for a change. I just needed to get something to focus on and sort of get passionate about again, I guess. And I'm loving it, I'm absolutely loving it. There you go. Perfect.
You did actually used to be on posters on my bedroom wall.
So do I look old and haggard now compared to the poster?
No, still recognise you.
Right, okay. At the time, when I had all these different insecurities about how I looked and confidence, self-esteem, I couldn't understand them, but the more I looked into them after the band and stuff, it all made sense. It's quite draining, actually, really trying to put on this, like, real confident front all the time, because that's what people want to see as well. They don't want to see somebody maybe struggling with it. Looking at me with that picture, I can feel those issues that I had back then and stuff, and you know, I maybe look confident and stuff in the picture, but I know reality was I wasn't the most confident.
In 2006, Lee married Lindsay from Bewitched, but recently their relationship has ended.
We just mutually decided to separate a year ago, and so hard for both of us.
How are you feeling now that you're going to be spending more time with Lindsay in rehearsals and things like that?
I guess my mind is going to be on the rehearsals, but every time I see Lindsay, obviously my mind will go back to me and her.
each other to be happy, and we're just friends.
With everyone's individual issues now out in the open and first rehearsals looming, 911 have made their first positive steps.
I think it's been quite a bit of a surprise and a bit of a shock, to be honest, with all three of us. Just kind of opening up and just talking about stuff that you would never kind of talk about in any previous kind of meetings or...
It's obvious, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That spark is there. You know it. You can feel it. Being together with you, but you can feel that we're ready to fucking go again.
I think the fans want to see us doing, whenever they came and see us back in the day doing a live tour, they want to see us doing that again. And it's like, we're 40-year-olds, who cares? Let's just do exactly what we used to do back then and show that we can still do it.
Cheers for being fucked up.
Hey, I think we are fucked up, actually. But do you know what? Who gives a shit?
Last week, former Pop Tearaways 5 got together for the first time in 6 years.
This is still beautiful.
Now Richie is nipping back to Australia before rehearsals, and the lads are sending him off the only way they know how, with an epic night out.
We're going to go and have a couple drinks, I think, catch up. And it's Rich's last night as well, so it'd be good to have a little catch up before he disappears, and we may not never see him again. Right, where are we heading? You know what, when in doubt, always go left.
You know where we're going?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Boys are back in town.
Yeah.
To this mad journey.
To this mad journey, yeah.
Keep it and the cone is it?
Yeah. They're finished. Another bottle of soul, please, mate.
Good fun! Good fun!
Just getting warmed up, mate. Just getting warmed up.
Anyway, right. I just want to say this. I know we've had banter. I know we take the piss out of each other. I know we've had our ups and downs. But I just want you all to know, whatever happens from this day on, I do love you all, right?
That was possibly the nicest thing you've ever said.
Yeah. And, because it's true.
I'll say one thing.
Have I got pizza in my teeth?
No, you haven't, no.
Yes.
You got a piece of face. I'd like to say,
fucking start.
It doesn't matter all my problems I had with a guy. I would just like to raise a glass to someone that's not here.
Jane.
To Jane.
Good on you.
Browner. Browner.
Good on you. Browner.
Good on you, Jane. Such a weird breakup, and we owe each other this.
Yeah,
we do. We owe each other this. Oh man, for no other reason than to get up on stage and have a laugh. To Richie. Oh, bless you, boys. No, it's been great having you. To our Aussie mate.
Bye, boys, with the power to rock you. Fucking madness. Let's get out of here.
Next time on The Big Reunion.
Hey!
The clock's ticking, and it's time for the band to get down to business on the first day of rehearsals.
You can't like hard shoes, soft shoes, contemporary. Hello, it's Penny.
With Michelle now on the road to recovery, Liberty X go for a night out.
It's funny because people go in. How are you feeling?
I am trying my hardest not to look.
And 5 search for a new member reaches boiling point.
I'm feeling a little bit like edgy right about now, man.
How many?
Fuck it, I'm having a break. Fuck this shit, get out of my way.
It's too much hard work.
Hello, the scheduled film Rambo First Blood has been cancelled tonight, but coming up next is Celebrity Juice with myself, Keith Lemon, Kelly Brook and Holly Willer. It's hard to say it without saying it. I'll say it on Celebrity Juice.